After a massive event that showcased a whole lot of Xbox information at XO19, we knew that a lot of the focus for the show was going to be surrounding the games coming out for spring 2020. And the event delivered on that promise of games, because there was so many games added to the Xbox Game Pass and Xbox in general that it was rather overwhelming. And while all of that is amazing and I'm looking forward to it, I don't think that was the most important part of the event. Instead, I think an interview that was given to Phil Spencer, you know, the head of Xbox and all things gaming at Microsoft. In this pretty big interview, he spoke about Xbox's next console, Project Scarlett, and what type of power it will have, and also what type of price point it will meet. And it's interesting that all of this information was brought up outside of the huge event at London. But then again, when you think about it, Xbox is trying to appeal to gamers at this show, and the best way to do that is to show as many games as possible. So I wanted to talk about this interview because it's pretty big news, especially since the last several weeks has been dominated by Sony and their PlayStation 5 news. So let's dive into this interview and see what Xbox's Project Scarlett is all about, and see what Xbox is trying to accomplish with this new powerful console. But before we dive into the interview, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, first off, I have to say I don't think Microsoft is going to repeat their mistakes with the launch of the Xbox One back so many years ago. I think this next generation is going to be something special by both companies, and I think Xbox is going to provide not only great hardware, but also great software to go along with it. And that's exactly what Phil Spencer is hinting at when he talks about the power and price of the Xbox Scarlett console. Here's what he said. I would say a learning from the Xbox One generation is we will not be out of position on power or price, says Phil Spencer, Microsoft's Xbox and gaming chief, in an interview with The Verge. If you remember the beginning of this generation, we were $100 more expensive, and yes, we were less powerful. And we started Project Scarlett with this leadership team in place with a goal of having market success. Right off the bat, this sounds way more aggressive and confident than I've ever heard anyone from Microsoft talk before. Not only does Phil Spencer say that they're going to compete in the price point of the console market, but he also says they're not going to be outdone in the power narrative. For years, a lot of gamers have been saying that Xbox needs to start fighting back with the competition and show a little teeth when they do it. They need to take this serious and start showing fans that they take the Xbox serious as a console. Well, this first quote by the man running everything at Xbox does show exactly that. It shows that Xbox has their ear to the ground in regards to the competition, which, if we're being honest, is basically Sony and the PlayStation 5. I took all of that from one single sentence in the interview, and the rest is also very intriguing because it shows that Phil Spencer understands what the fans want. It shows that Microsoft understands what they did wrong at the launch of the generation. They were less powerful and more expensive than the competition, so of course Sony would dominate the market because they had a better deal on a console. It's so awesome to see the highest level executive understand this problem and is ready to remedy the problem next generation. But what does that mean for the future of Xbox? Well, Phil speaks on the future of Xbox's next generation and the generations following Project Scarlett. Here's what he said. That market success will be key for Xbox. After years of falling behind PlayStation sales and questions over its games lineup, either way, Spencer thinks there are plenty of generations of Xbox ahead. We had the discussion years ago, do we want to do another generation? Yes, and do we think there will be multiple generations ahead of us? I actually think there probably is, says Phil Spencer. So we're going all in. We're all in on Project Scarlett, and I want to compete, and I want to compete in the right ways, which is why we're focused on crossplay and backwards compatibility. Well, this sounds a lot more positive and reassuring than what I've heard other people talking about Xbox console gaming have said. Not only are they all in with the Xbox console, but they're all in on gaming in general. We will have Xbox consoles for not only the Scarlett generation, but for generations to follow. But the best part about this whole quote is that Phil Spencer wants to compete with software, hardware, sales, and everything regarding gaming. Microsoft wants to be in the middle of the fight, trying to bring the best experience to the Xbox platform. But not just by closing off their system and not allowing anyone else on the Xbox platform, which some gamers want. No, instead of being held down by archaic fundamentals, Xbox wants to break the mold and bring the Xbox platform to all gamers. Now that's what I call competition, and that's what I call great value for everyone that invests in the platform. With crossplay and of course backwards compatibility, the next generation console is not only future-proof, but it's also investment-proof. All the money and investment we've put into the console this generation won't be left behind and forgotten. My dollar actually means something. All the games I've bought still have value to me as a gamer. This to me is one of the best things that can happen for the next generation. I want Microsoft to respect my purchases and not make me buy remasters and remakes of games I've already experienced. So all of this information just makes me happy to see what the next generation Xbox console is all about. Now, of course, they went into detail of the specs for the console, and to be honest, it's not that different from what we've heard before. But to cover everything, here's what was said in the article. Microsoft revealed its Project Scarlett plans earlier this year at E3, and Sony has confirmed the PlayStation 5 will be available in holiday 2020. Microsoft's Project Scarlett console will support 8K gaming, frame rates of up to 120 frames in games, ray tracing, and variable refresh rate support. Microsoft is also using an SSD on Project Scarlett and a custom designed CPU based on AMD Zen 2 and Radeon RDNA architecture. This, of course, is very similar to PlayStation 5 and also similar to what we've heard from Xbox themselves about their own console. All of these specs are next generation and will provide a much different experience to all console gamers, especially the SSD and the CPU upgrade. Those alone will dramatically change the way we play games on a console. The SSD will allow us to access our games almost instantly instead of waiting for several minutes at a load screen. It will allow for developers to bring new gaming experience because we can go through an entire world in an instant instead of being bogged down by pop-in load textures. The CPU will provide immersive physics that will trample anything we've seen so far on console. No matter how you look at it, these new consoles will be a massive step forward and they'll be a great investment for gaming. Now, the last thing about the new consoles that was brought up was the rumors of having two consoles at launch. Phil Spencer didn't want to talk about this much and instead kind of dodged the question. Here's what was said. While we know the basics about Project Scarlett, Microsoft isn't ready to say much more at XO19. I pressed Spencer several times on rumors about two consoles for the Project Scarlett release and whether the lineup of Xbox One S, Xbox One X, and Project Scarlett will be a lot of choice for console shoppers in 2020. We will talk about the SKU lineup and how it works, says Spencer. I think the root principle of we don't want to confuse people, we share that. The most telling part about this is that Xbox doesn't want to confuse the customer about their consoles. Does that mean they'll provide one centric console that will have everything we need? Or will they provide two consoles and give the elite gamers the performance they want, while providing a more affordable console to the people that don't really care for performance? No matter how you cut it, this honestly sounds like the two console thing isn't dead and might still be around within Microsoft. I think they're trying to get the message down and the marketing down for this reveal, because launching two consoles at the same time can confuse people, so they have to tread very carefully here. And like we brought up earlier in the video, we don't want Xbox kicking off this new generation by making costly mistakes. So we will see what the SKU lineup is in the next 6 months or even before E3, which again is 6 months away. Now, that's pretty much everything the interview had to say about the next generation consoles, and I have to say it's the most telling interview Phil Spencer has done. He's speaking far more confident about Project Scarlett and what they have planned for the next generation. All the while, he's not giving a lot of information like Xbox has done before. Instead, it seems they're keeping a lot of their plans very close to the chest. While I can't blame them for doing that, especially since Sony has always reacted to what competition has done and capitalized on it. This time around, it looks like Microsoft is really taking this generation far more serious, especially when it comes to the Xbox console. They want to compete in power, price, games, services, platform, infrastructure, and most of all, gamers' trust. This is the type of Xbox I want to see, and it's the type of Xbox I can't wait to see execute their plans. Let's hope they stick the landing in the next 2 years, because so far they have everything in the right place to do so. And if they can launch this console at $399 or $499, I think they can really do some damage on the market, and I think they can make the Xbox Scarlett that much more powerful and have gamers that much more willing to buy their console. But enough about what I think about all of this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Do you think the Xbox Scarlett will be more powerful? Is Xbox going to compete with Sony in the console market? Is gaming becoming bigger than just the console? What does Xbox have to do next generation to earn your trust? Are you excited to see which games launch on the console? Is crossplay and backwards compatibility important to you? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. And also follow me on Mixer. I recently started streaming on Mixer because I find the community much more engaging and fun. So if you want to hang out and chat with me, I'm very active with my chat and always playing games. I'll put the links in the description. I hope to see you guys there. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.